to libraries and wars over information and knowledge and books. Books have become political. Here we see the Yorkshire Post reporting, quoting Helen Boyce, books relating to gender identity were removed from Yorkshire libraries due to an internal HR matter, not politics. And this, the Yorkshire Post explains that recently journalists, it was the Telegraph, I think, uncovered Calderdale Council libraries removing books from shelves. This received some pushback in the local community from a councillor who said, whilst I appreciate this is a sensitive topic, we live in a liberal democracy with freedom of speech, freedom of thought and individual liberty enshrined in our way of life. These principles are the differentiating factor between the Western democracies and totalitarian states. So these actions of the council are entirely unacceptable. And what he was told is the decision to remove certain books from the library shelves was not political. It was a consequence of an internal human resources matter, and as such cannot be discussed further. So it's HR department that made this decision, and it's now secret because it's the HR department, apparently. Secrecy is a pattern we're seeing, obviously, more and more. And this problem with libraries has been happening for some time. A slightly older story here relating to Devon. Enid Blyton novels being removed in a bizarre new woke driver. Enid Blyton's getting cancelled. This was discussed in the New York Times back in February 2022. The battle for the soul of the library. Stanley Kurtz here arguing that the Bill of Rights in America and the pledge and conduct of American librarians had been to provide materials and information representing all points of view and to be neutral. But he continues by vowing ideological neutrality in the provision of knowledge. Librarians enable readers to develop opinions based on broad consideration of the available alternatives. In contrast, librarians who allow their personal politics to control or curtail the provision of information violate neutrality, betray the public trust. A woke librarian is a contradiction in terms. And despite this, they do exist. Woke librarians, but librarians who see it as their duty to promote views on race, policing, sexuality and other issues are everywhere. And he's commenting that this is a lesson that we should be viewing through all aspects of society, including the judges and government bureaucrats and journalists, that the old tradition of neutrality and telling the truth and being fair-minded and allowing both sides to be heard should be maintained. Now, he that article was responded to in an article signed by 5 very senior librarians in America. And you can tell the condescending tone here, the slight hint of contempt when they say once more for those in the back, libraries are not neutral. And they say here it's important that librarians uphold our commitment to the important equity work. Equity is equal outcomes. It's individual injustice in the guise of greater justice. We must stand up to ill-informed attempts to mischaracterize and politicize our work. We must make sure that our work is truly understood in our communities, and we cannot allow political actors to turn woke librarian into a bogeyman. Let us elevate the truth instead. America's librarians are dedicated, trained, frontline professionals working to promote equity in our communities and to help preserve democracy and truth-telling in our society. So they're promoting equity. They're no longer providing information, promoting equity, a political agenda. Now, if you thought that couldn't get worse, it can. Here we have the British Library. The British Library. Their staff are going to get emotional support to help them add trigger warnings to the archive. And why are they doing this? Well, again, it's the cultural Marxist agenda. In this case, anti-racist. And they continue. The group made these recommendations, was launched in the wake of the anti-racist organization Black Lives Matter, an American organization also known as by large mansions, without any real link to Britain at all. Chief Librarian Liz Jolly told staff, "The murder of George Floyd has shown that we're good at saying we don't believe in racism, but I have to say as Chief Librarian that we haven't done enough to ensure that this organisation is anti-racist." Now, I would point out that anti-racist ideology is one which seeks to discriminate based on race to increase equity. It's not about being not racist. It's quite different from that. Also in America, the head of the American Libraries Association is now a Marxist lesbian, Emily Drabinski. The Daily Mail reports here. She's now taking some flack, and Montana is the first state to officially cut ties with the oldest library trade organisation in the US. And many other American lawmakers are looking to do the same. And what did she say when she was appointed? "I just cannot believe that a Marxist lesbian who believes that collective power is possible to build and can be wielded for a better world is the president-elect of the American Libraries Association. I'm so excited for what we will do together." So it's all about collective power. It's about control.